Listen, how you doing?
Hell yeah, man. Likewise, I'm good, and we'll just do a little couple minute thing here before we actually hit record.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, yeah, but yeah, man. What's going on? What's up in Nashville?
Man, dude, man. Nashville got a lot going on, man.
Yeah.
In a good way if you know how to take advantage of what's going on here. You know what I'm saying?
Yep. Yep. I'm listening. I'm just gonna walk around the computer real quick
Okay,
so
okay, okay. Yeah. And where are you
so I can
actually?
hear you.
What state are you actually in again?
I'm in PA.
Okay, yeah, exactly. Okay, okay, good.
Yeah. Um. Yeah. Yeah. I'm in Pennsylvania. And I know Pennsylvania, like for people that aren't from Pennsylvania, usually most people look at Pennsylvania and don't know like where the hell anything is in Pennsylvania because
Okay,
it's like I guess it's like a bigger state. I never really thought of it that way, but if you're looking at like we're 2 hours north of Philly, so if you're familiar, like Philly's like in like the south the southeast, we're 2 hours north of Philly in the northeast part of Pennsylvania.
is Philly really known for the best Philly steaks?
I mean, yeah, they do got they have good cheesesteaks, but like
Okay,
I'm also the guy that like I'm not gonna tell you to go to like I mean I'm not gonna like wouldn't go to like there's like Pat's and Geno's are like the two like big name like chain ones that like that's like if you don't really know like that's just where you go
yeah.
because like they're like the commercialized places, you know. But like there's better hole in the wall places that are way better, you know.
Okay, I figured that.
So
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, but yeah, but I'm not like a huge like Philly guy, like like even though like it's about 2 hours from here, but they obviously the Eagles just won the Super Bowl, but I'm actually not an
Yeah,
Eagles
we
fan.
would be thinking you would be, yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Um,
I know I
but
see Gilly the Kid and them up there loving it.
yeah, oh yeah, oh dude, he's the guy like lost his mind in a good way, you know.
He's the
So
guy.
I don't blame him. Good for him, you know.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah. But yeah, so thanks for sending me the little snippet, a little bit about you. That was good. It was helpful, and I
Okay.
think yeah, I'm eager to hear more about your story. And we'll kind of wait until we get into it here. And I think it sounds like it sounds like you have a pretty awesome story. And I'm don't let the whiteness fool you.
Yeah, thanks.
But I'm a huge hip hop fan.
Okay.
I've always been. What do you say? You're 43.
I'm 43.
Okay, I'm tomorrow's my birthday. Actually, I'll be 36. I had to think about that for a second. So we're not too far apart, but yeah, I mean, I'm like I said, I've only really ever listened to hip hop, like for as long as I can remember. So
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
yeah, and I always did wonder like what your connection was to. I still call him Young Buck, even though like he dropped the Young, 'cause he's like
Man, we got a long history.
yeah. But I mean, obviously, I'm Nick. I still listen to his music regularly. Like, I mean, but his old, like,
Yeah.
even like his old, like his like the OG, straight out of Cashville,
Me and Buck has been here, there, in, out. Like it's just a it's just a long story, and we
yeah.
can get into a lot of that. You know what I'm saying and everything. I got a little echo. Is it cool? Is that how it's supposed to be?
Yeah,
Okay.
it sounds okay to me. So,
Okay.
yeah,
Good.
just one thing. Have you ever done a virtual one on like a platform like this, like Riverside or anything?
No, I haven't.
Okay, so what are you using a computer or
I'm using the
iPhone?
iPhone 15.
Okay, so when you hang up, like after we finish, and it might take a little bit to do it, depending on like your connection. If you're connected to like a good Wi-Fi, but as soon as we hang up, it'll prompt you to keep the app open, and because it has to upload your files to the cloud.
Okay.
So just don't swipe out and
Oh
close
yeah.
out of it. Do you know what I mean? Like as soon as we end, like I'll hit the end button. And by the way, like when we end, like I'm not gonna just shut it out. Like we can bullshit for a minute or two, afterwards. I'm not just like, hey, thanks for joining me, goodbye, and then we don't
Thanks.
time for another month. um, but but yeah, but right when we do finish, when I do close it out, like just make sure you keep it open. Like I said, it'll probably, I think it prompts you like on the app. It'll say keep this open, and it'll show you like the percentage of like how much is left of the upload.
Most definitely. Most definitely.
Um, but Yeah, but I'm trying to think if there's anything else. Uh, you know, there's my show's like there's nothing off limits. Like cursing's allowed. Like just be yourself. Like don't hold back. I don't want you to feel like you have to
And,
be
and
yelling
and
at anybody.
nothing's off limits with me. Politics, anything, nothing's off limits. I'm just, we podcasters, so we'll dig in it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Cool. Anything else? Any questions or anything before we start?
No, I'm good.
You're good. Okay, cool. All right. I just have to. I'm gonna have to get up and hit record on a couple of things here because I have another camera on the other side here recording as well. Let's see here. Actually, these headphones in, I think.
Thank you.
All right. Let's see here. Where are you at recording today?
I'm recording my one of my best friends' establishments. Her name is Kim Bella, and she rents out all these spaces, and so man, it's just good to have friends. You know what I'm
Yeah. Hell
saying?
yeah. Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
she opened the doors for me. Just anytime I need her, the doors are just open. So
Cool.
shout out to Kim.
Hell yeah. All right,
Hmm.
I just gonna hit record on the camera. Hang on a second.
Okay. Hey, what's up, YouTube? What's going on, man? Live interview, man. Y'all can keep tuning in, man. Gonna give just some snippets of my story, man. You know what I'm saying? And so y'all can tap in and comment. Make sure you guys subscribe and make sure you guys are sharing the page. A lot coming up. Two, one.
Oh, you can keep going. Go ahead.
Okay, yeah. I was just talking to my YouTube people.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Tell him I said what's up too.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Bill said, "What's up, YouTube?"
What are you live on there?
Yeah, I just do a little
Oh
live.
shit.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome.
Mm-hmm.
We got like a. This is what do we call it? This is like podcast inception right now. It's like a podcast within a podcast.
Yeah, facts. Most of it, 100%, 100%. And just trying to get it further out there as possible as we can.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you alive,
Subscribe.
subscribe.
If you're live, subscribe,
Yeah,
man.
yeah, I love it. When we first I was just actually I was just telling somebody else the story of how you and I think well we never actually physically met, but
Yeah.
I feel like we have.
Me too. That's what I said. I told somebody, and I said, man, I feel like we kind of know each other more than we do.
Yeah,
You know what I'm
yeah,
saying?
yeah. I know, yeah, and I remember it was so I'm sure you probably remember, but it was like maybe like a year and a half or so ago. I was um I was in Nashville,
Yeah.
and I had some some friends there. I made obviously made some new friends while I was there too. You being one of them, but
But
kind of afterwards. But I remember we connected on Instagram. I think that's where we connected, and
mm-hmm.
we obviously we had the podcast commonality, and so we immediately just started chatting. And I don't know why it took this long for us to really actually like do this, here together. Because I feel like us podcasters. I mean, I love supporting other podcasters, and I appreciate what you're doing. I'm a big hip hop fan, so I mean, obviously, I enjoy seeing your content and everything, and like I said, just supporting other podcasters to me is I always enjoy that.
I think the time is always right. And the funny thing I tell a lot of people in podcasts, it might feel right sometime, but it's just like, nah, I want to wait till the right time to get this person, and it'll flow right. And so
Yeah.
I just think, sometimes it take a little more time than we think. You know what I'm saying? But it'll flow right. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, 100%. No, that's it's funny you say that because I always say that same thing. Like it's always I feel like there's people that are on my radar like a lot that
Yeah.
I kind of want to have them on, but for some reason like either they didn't ask me or I didn't ask them
Yeah.
yet, whatever it is. Maybe we both have too big of egos, who knows?
Mm-hmm.
But like no, there's just something weird about it that like you said like it just I believe in like the timing of things just lining up, and again like this, even though we've been connected now for like a year and a half, like we never really like said like all right like let's actually do this.
Let's do it. Yeah.
And and it's just like and like you said when the timing is right. Like it just happens.
It
It
just
just
happens,
comes
yeah,
together.
organically, and that's when I think
Yeah.
it's at its best. You know what I'm
That's when it's
saying?
the best, yeah,
Yeah,
because it's not like force. It's
yeah.
not like, you know what I mean. Like there's just something totally different about it, and I know the exact same feeling because it happens all the time. Like it happens all the time, and it's always with, you're not really like a stranger, I'll say,
Yeah.
right? But like we don't really know each other. It's not like
Nice.
we're in the same hometown. You're in Nashville. I'm in Pennsylvania, and you know. But like it just the way that it just happens, like it's sometimes I just the way the universe works is mind blowing.
And then when sometimes you'll be like, hey, let's work. And then you be like, dang, I wanna do it right now, but it's kind of not the right time, and I don't want him to think that I'm dodging him or nothing. You know what I'm saying? And so, and you know how that kind of be like, but I'm getting to it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And
Yeah.
so I totally
Yeah.
get it.
Yep. And it always ends up being like usually too like same thing like they'll like I've had other previous guests where like I probably could have had them on sooner or maybe we tried to plan something sooner but then for some circumstance whatever got delayed and then like whenever we end up actually doing the episode like in that moment or when the episode comes out I always think to myself like oh man like thank God we waited like
So
a
that way,
year to
yeah.
actually do this because the timing of it, like when we actually did it, it just there were things that like happened, lined up, and fell into place that would not have happened had we had done it like a year or so ago.
and,
Like,
and
did that
then
happen to you
and,
too?
and then you get more information. It's just like, man, I would have been sad if I
Makes
would have
it
did
better.
it before that happened. You know what I mean? You get more
Yeah.
information, and so I think that's what makes the show even better for anybody when I know a little more about you. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, definitely, yeah. And like you said, just there's other experiences that like may have happened in between there that like it's like oh hey now we could we have those things more to talk about. Whereas if you did it kind of I don't want to say jump the gun, but like other times it'd be like you do the episode then like a couple months later like I see you do something big. I'm like ah shit I wish I would have waited.
Got him.
You
Yeah,
know what I
yeah.
mean? We forced it. So yeah. Yeah,
So
but yeah, no. So yeah, the timing. I feel like even though it's been a long time coming, it's just right.
most definitely,
I don't
most
know what it
definitely,
is, but it felt right. So what's up in Nashville, man?
man. You know, Nashville is. I always say Nashville is the Bible Belt. You know what I'm saying? I give Nashville that godly feel on the strength of everybody come here. First thing they say is, man, the people are so nice. You know what I'm saying? The help because we always helping and and I really think we really a lot of us, 80% of us believe in God down here. You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah,
and the reason why I say that is because a lot of people we got a conscience, you know what I'm saying? And we like to help people and all that. But on the other side, our city has got so packed with foreigners. And when I say foreigners, I'm not talking about Mexicans, or I'm just talking about people from elsewhere, California, all these different places. And the parking is terrible. Us Nashvillians, we need to band together and get on this parking situation down here. You know what I'm
was it
saying?
always? It couldn't have been always bad, right?
No, it wasn't
It's always
always bad. Now that all these people are coming from all over the world, it's nowhere to park.
they took all the damn parking spots.
And so and they took the parking spots, but then all these other people now they charging the park. So now even on the street, I remember back in the day, you pull up on any street and just park. Now when you pull up on the street, they got a sign up there saying pay. You know what I'm saying? And so
Mm-hmm.
Nashville has grown like everybody love country music. Like I'm a big Luke Bryan fan. Drink a beer. I love Little Big Town. You know what I'm saying? I love all these groups. But you got to think for us, the natives here, we've been listening to these people way before Nashville's the quote unquote place to be. When we was young, I'm 43. When we was young, we was going downtown and listening to country. You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah,
so and
yeah.
so now that it's
You're a Nashville OG.
yeah, and now that it's grown and everybody's coming here for it, it's just kind of like, yeah, we still love to do it, but we've been doing it, you know what I'm saying, for so long. So we one thing I appreciate, we used to always complain about not having a lot of jobs in Nashville when I was coming up. And now if you in Nashville and you ain't working and you saying you can't find a job, you just full of it. Because
You
it's
lying.
it's so it's so many of them. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
And so
yeah.
just to see where Nashville came from to now, it's phenomenal. But a lot of us need to catch up with what's going on. You know what I'm saying? You got all these big developers from California and New York, and you got all these big developers coming in and they're building for 10 years down the line. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And
Oh
so
yeah,
and
yeah.
you got a lot of us that we've been here and we should have had something lined up to where that's why they say where the black community at in Nashville. It's here, but a lot of us didn't capitalize off of what's to come. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And we talking about the regentrification and all this and that and I mean I got a guy that ended up buying like 5 or 6 properties. And way before this regentrification thing was even a thing, the guy he was buying the property for was telling them like, "Hey, this is what's gonna happen. They finna make all this stuff downtown." And I'm looking like, it's East Nashville, North Nashville, West Nashville, South Nashville, and then downtown is just downtown. It's just the buildings downtown. And so you got to think for somebody telling us they finna make all these neighborhoods downtown. We like, no, no, that you know what I'm saying. And he was trying to let us know what's going on. And now East North South ain't East North South no more. All that stuff is considered downtown.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? And
It's
so
all kind of blended.
it's all kind of blended. And so the word they say, hey, they kicked us out. Well, did they kick us out, or did we not have the resources, or did we not know what was to come? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And so, like I said, Nashville. This I'm proud of Nashville. I just feel like we have to catch up to what's going on. Um, Even when we're talking about downtown, it's no black clubs downtown. You know what I'm saying? It's we still go down there, but they didn't build nothing for black people downtown. You know what I'm saying? Just
Yeah.
um I can complain about that, but I also can say, hey, for forever in Nashville, Tennessee, black people shoot all the clubs up. You know what I'm saying? And so I could, so
Yeah.
we could fight to
Yeah,
why
you,
they
you can see
didn't.
both sides. Yeah, yeah.
I'll be crazy if I act like that ain't a thing. And because we preach to these guys all the time, yeah, you got people that want to invest in stuff for us to do, but are we gonna support it? Are we gonna take care of it? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, or destroy it.
Or destroy it? Where I come from, because I that's where I started off in promotion. We have destroyed a lot of clubs and black establishments in Nashville, Tennessee, other than actually supporting them the way that they need to be supported. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And you don't really understand that until you actually get into business, and then like, oh, okay, that's why they need me to support them, because it gotta keep going. You know what I'm saying? That's on how they're gonna
Yeah.
keep going if we are actually supporting them and promoting them. You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
so,
Yeah.
you know, like I said, Nashville it's a good place to live. It's very comfortable. The food, I think we kind of top on the list. Food, if you know where to go. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah. You gotta
If
know
you
where to
know where
go.
to go, I think we kind of top on that list. And I understand why all the people are migrating here to invest in Nashville, because it's just a good, happy place. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah. So you're obviously I know you're born and raised there, right?
Yeah,
So where at exactly are you from? Where'd you grow up?
I'm born and raised East Nashville.
Okay. What was it like growing up as a kid in East Nashville?
Man, East Nashville, my mom, my mom is just a great lady. You know what I'm saying? She was my grandmother is just was just my grandmama was just a great lady. My grandma was she fed the whole neighborhood. You know what I'm saying?
Like a grandmother should.
Like a grandmother should. You know what I'm saying? And so coming up in East Nashville, we didn't have nothing. You know what I'm saying? I ain't gonna say we didn't see now let me take that back. I ain't gonna say we didn't have nothing, but we didn't have what the other people had. You know what I'm saying? But
Yeah.
we was raised in a house full of love. You know what I'm saying? And it's something like we watch like the New Jack Cities and all those type of movies, but it's really something different when you walk out your house every morning and the first thing you seeing is drug dealers and you really seeing needles all over the place and you just seeing like it's like you young, you don't kind of know what they doing, but it's just like you stand on the bus stop, you're like, okay, they doing something. You know what I'm saying? They doing
Yeah.
something different. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It-
This is the environment you grew up in.
this is the environment I grew up in, and so um, I really believe in being a product of your own environment. I don't. I always think about my best friend. I was my best friend. He was into it with a guy from our same neighborhood, and that's something I just never understood. And this is what he said one day. He said, if he mess with me today, if he say something to me today, he said I'm gonna use these on him. He had some brass knuckles, and so we come out. We in this house. We come outside, and he's just he has hands in his pocket. He's just chilling. The guy came straight around the corner who he was talking about. And the first thing he said, you a B. This and that. He just always messed with him. So when the guy walked up on him, he just hauled off punching him. You know what I'm saying? With those brass knuckles. Obviously, the guy felt something different because he was like, what you hit me for? What you hit me with? And he pulled out a gun and shot him in his head and killed him.
Wow.
And so, like, I'm standing right beside my guy. You know what I'm saying?
Like you were there.
I'm
Essentially.
standing right beside. I'm standing right here. You know what I'm saying? And so
Wow.
that's
How
not,
old were you?
huh?
How
And
old were you?
yeah, but and I'm just saying like when we young, we don't understand like I think about that all the time. You know what I'm saying? And not that
How
is
old were you then?
I was probably about I'm gonna say 15,
15.
15.
How old was your friend? Was he the same age?
He was about 17.
Okay.
You know what I'm
And
saying?
how old was the other guy?
The other guy was about the same thing, about 16, 17. You know what I'm
Okay,
saying?
sweet. Yeah, and you watched your friend
I
get
watched my friend.
murdered right in
I
front of you.
watched him take his last breath. You know what I'm saying? We put cover on him and stuff like that. I just can never forget that day. You know what I'm saying? And it's just like that's the type of stuff when you walking out your front door, like you seeing this stuff on the regular, and then it becomes regular to you. You know what I'm saying? And then when you get
Yeah.
older, you look at it like, oh, that wasn't regular. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's not normal.
It's not normal, but it's normal when you living
To
in
you it
that
was.
environment.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And so it's just like if all your friends are selling drugs, it's just like, what do you do? It's easy for somebody to say, well, you chose to do it. Most definitely I chose to do it, but everybody was doing it around me. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
and like you said, it's almost like what other choice, did you have?
What up, my mom's out there, doing what she do. She's not, at this time, she's a product of her environment. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And then so now with grandma's taking care of us, aunties are taking care of us, and so it's just like when you come up where I came up, it's just like which way do you go? What do you do? You know what I'm saying? And then when you actually start, I'm gonna tell you something. This is the thing about selling drugs. I want to say this too. It's an evil game because we understand that it's illegal and it's hurting people and it's killing people. But in the mix of it, with you actually being a guy with a good heart And when you are making money doing it and you're making a difference, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like if you're making money doing it and you actually helping people, like, and like I said, you can say it's evil money and all. I totally agree with that statement now. But if you actually making some money and making a difference, and actually for like kids and stuff, like for me, we used to, my grandma used to give us $20 to go to Pick and Pay. If anybody know what Pick and Pay Payless, remember those shoe stores? And she just give us $20 to go to Pick and Pay List, and we'll buy a pair of shoes. Me and my brother, we'll try to save like $1 or something, so we can get us some little candy. Shoes 19, save us $1, we can get us some candy, and we had to wear those shoes for the next 2 3 months. If and I'm just giving it 2 or 3, I'm just saying it might be 6, it might be 8 months, and so when you going to school at the age we was back then, when you going to school and people talking about you and your shoes tearing up, you know what I'm saying?
You got the pay less shoes.
You got to
You got the pay less
you got
sneakers, bro.
to
I had the pay less sneakers too.
you got to pay less shoes. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, and then we ain't gonna talk about the clothes.
Yeah,
We ain't
yeah,
gonna even we gonna leave. I don't. We ain't gonna even talk about the
yeah,
clothes.
yeah. Kmart clothes.
You know, easy Kmart.
That's yeah,
Kmart, not even
yeah.
Walmart yet. We couldn't even get Walmart yet.
Same. Even up here, we didn't
You
even
know
have
what I'm saying?
we didn't even have a Walmart even then back then either. We just had it was like the pay less and Kmart.
Kmart,
That was it.
Kmart, and so going from having nothing to able to do a little something for yourself, it felt good. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
It felt good for a person like me. Now I can go buy me a pair of shoes. You know what I'm saying? I don't have to worry about this person talking about me. I can look good. I can feel good about myself. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I
Yeah.
mean,
Yeah. What was what was that? I want to kind of go back. I know it's probably difficult for you to talk about and relive it. I know as you said, like you still like you're still like living with that memory.
yeah.
Unfortunately, when you lost your friend that day. But what like what ensued after that? Like what was your life like after that? Like what changed and like what was it like after experiencing something like that? 'Cause that's a lot, man.
Man, it makes you nervous. It makes you feel, when it happens that easy. It makes you feel like, oh, it can, anything can happen. It can be me next. You know what I'm saying? And so it makes you. I got a real phobia of hanging around a lot of guys. You know what I'm saying? Like that
Yeah, I
ain't.
think I just saw you the other day. Said I don't need any new friends.
I
Did
don't.
you just post that like just the other
You,
day?
you know what I'm saying? Like I got a real phobia of that on the strength of, like, I'm a really good friend to my, you know what I'm saying, like my friends, they'll do anything for me. They'll give me, like we tell my friend Kim Bella Hill, she just, I can get this building anytime I want to. She don't charge me a dime. She don't want anything. And so when you really grow close to people, like, you just hate to, you know what I'm saying, lose them. You know what I mean? And even with my best friend that got killed, um, he killed somebody. You know what I'm saying? And so it's just like,
Yeah,
be-
obviously, at what age? So he had obviously been involved in has sort of been down this road of violence leading up to this point of his life.
I can tell this story now because he's deceased, and his I'm gonna say his significant other deceased. Him and his wife had got into it or whatever, and she threatened him, said something about getting the gun. So what he done was he got the gun, he took the bullets out, like really hiding the bullets from her.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a touchy story, really hiding the bullets from her. So they got into it. He came back later on that day, came back to the house later on that day, and they got to arguing again. And so he got the gun and said, "If you don't be quiet, I'm gonna shoot you." He pulled the trigger and shoot a shot in the head. He thought the bullets were still out the gun when obviously she might have added some in there. Because the person who he was, I don't see him just I didn't that wasn't his life. You know what I'm saying? He wasn't a violent type of person. He was very, very, very unviolent. You know what I'm saying? He wasn't a violent type of person or whatever. And so again, you got stuff like that. We seeing stuff like this, and we just young. We just thinking it's regular because that's the neighborhood that we live in. And so stuff like this is just like regular. Like, okay, this person got killed, and this person got killed. My brother, he was going to a therapist one time, and he was telling his therapist, he was like, "Hey, yeah, because when my friend he shot the guy, and the guy died, and the therapist was like, that stuff ain't normal. You know what I'm saying? But it's normalized to us because it's like that's all what's going on."
That's all you know.
And so going back to what you said, like when you go through stuff like that, like your life is so different. It's precious in ways like you feel like you here, and you know God got you here for a purpose, but it's traumatizing in ways because it's just like it can happen that easy.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And so it ain't good to always be able to think about that type of stuff, but thank God that we kind of I'm in a good space in my life to where I can learn to deal with it. You know what I'm saying? Just even I say when I was in and we go to my we go to my prison story. We went to all that fine, but even when I was in prison, I went to this. I was going to church, and this pastor said, um, he was just saying, like, I feel like you got a lot on you, and he said, God just telling me like that it's a lot on you because you have never met your daddy. And I just busted out crying. You know what I'm saying? And in that moment, I learned it's time to start dealing with some of these pains. You know what I'm saying? Like I've never met my dad. You know what I'm saying? And just trying to be the heart, like, oh, I don't need a daddy. Yeah, yeah, I might not now. You know what I mean? But then it's just like dealing with those traumas or those pains and acting like you're fine. I'm in a space now where I tell you I'm not okay. If I'm not okay, if you know what I mean, you know what I mean, because we caught up. Our egos want everybody to feel like we're fine, and we ain't always okay. Everybody needs somebody to talk to.
Yeah. Yeah. So how do you with with all the trauma, and obviously there's probably tons of stories, and obviously we'll probably cover some of them, but
Yeah.
like how do you deal with it? How have you taken these traumatic experiences and all these times, and how have you been able to take it and as you said, like, learn from it, and just live with it? Like, I think that's one of the things, like, again, it's one of these things where not many people experience the things that you've experienced,
Yeah.
right? And
Yeah.
I can't even sit here and say, like, yeah, Ricky, I get it, because I don't. Like, I've
Yeah.
never experienced that. I mean, I've experienced things on my own, but just in different ways, right?
Hmm.
But I can't. I'm not gonna sit here and say, like, oh yeah, man, I get it, because I don't. I feel like that'd be selfish of me to say that. But like, what how have you? Because I think the thing that I do understand is that, like, as you said, like, it doesn't ever go away.
Never.
Like,
Yeah.
you do whatever trauma that you experience in your life, hopefully, you find a way to be able to deal with it and live with it, and again, it doesn't ever go away, and it's always still there, and it's not like you can just forget about it and just move on. It just doesn't work like that, right? So, like, for you, like, how have you been able to find a way to live with those experiences?
Well, first, what I'm saying, I know it's a cliche, but first God, what I mean, we gonna get that out the way. But also, I got a lot of great people in my life. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, I'm not scared to call and say, "Hey, this is what I'm going through." Even I got people that might put me on the phone with somebody and say, "Hey, man, talk to this person. You know what I'm saying? I really understand that God has put people on this earth to help us. You know what I'm saying? Bad as we want to say, oh, I'm just going to God. Well, God's in the sky. He's a whole spirit. And so, man, I got some great people in my life that really pours into me. You know what I'm saying? And so I think I kind of deal with it through that. And then, and I know we'll get to that, but I was a mentor in prison. And so God
Okay.
showed me that my job in prison, I got paid more than anybody. They start off at prison start off at 17 cents an hour. That's what they start off paying you.
Yeah. Oh, not
Um
bad. Yeah.
17 cents out. My auntie came and saw me in prison one time, and she said, how are you gonna adjust to society? And we'll get to that. Like, when I was in the streets, like, I was one of the guys like that actually was getting a whole lot of money. I was, I was with the Mexican mob and all that type of stuff, and we can get in there if you want to. But and she was like, after all the stuff that you had and all the money, how you gonna adjust to society when you come home? I said, well, auntie, they making 17 a cent an hour in here. She said, ooh, McDonald's don't sound so bad. and so
Yeah.
and so they start off at 17 cents an hour. First, when I went to prison, first thing I had to do was get my GED. I didn't have my GED out here. Thank God, that's the first thing I did. But they paid me 54 cents to be a mentor in the prison system. And here, little old me, I'm finna mentor these guys. Some of them older older than me, some of them my age, and it's just like, why they gonna listen to me? You know what I'm saying? Why would they?
Mhm.
But I learned something. When you a good role model, I was already walking straight in prison. You know what I'm saying? I was already walking like an upright man. And so it's like they're like, okay, cool. If you got something, you know what I'm saying, they'll give it. And you just have to learn how to communicate with the guys in that. So anyway, to make a long story short, what you're saying is like I really get fed by giving back.
Mm.
And so if it's the kids, they call me Unc now. And so if it's some kids or it's somebody that I can help and I can tell them like, that way you going, I can tell you why not to go the way. I can tell you what you gonna get. I can tell you, yeah, you probably gonna make a lot of money. Yeah, you gonna travel. I did all that. I've had the nicest cars. I've been around Jay Z. You know what I'm saying? Me and Buck, I've been with Jay Z, Jeezy. I done been in the most fabulous. I done been over Boosie Estates. You know what I'm saying? I done been to Boosie House, and I can tell them, you're gonna do all that. You gonna do all that in that road of what you going down. You might be around some of your favorite people, but at the end of that tunnel, it ain't number two things. My grandmama, shout out to my grandma, I love her to death, Ada Moss. When I first went to them streets, this is what happened. Real quick, cause I wanna go start the story. This is what happened. I was in seventh grade high school. I mean middle school. I was in seventh grade, and a friend of mine, me and him was real tight in school. He came to school that next day. He said, hey Ricky, I need a favor. He was like, what? He said, I robbed somebody. He said he had a knife or something. He said I robbed him. I think it was like $400 or something like that. He said I robbed somebody. He said I need a gun, and I was like, okay. I said I got one. I said if you split the money with me, I'll give you the gun or whatever. So it's like $400. He gave me 200. We left school. I went and gave him the gun. And this what I told him, Bill. This what I told him. I said, don't bring it into school. I said, when you hide it, I said, when you come to school, hide it right before you get to school. Because he was just really trying to protect himself, you know what I'm saying, from what he done robbed somebody. It's me, him, and another guy. And he brought it to school that next day. And so they called me to the office. I go in the office, me, him and the other guy sitting right there in the office. And I'm thinking like, uh, I'm not thinking they caught him with the gun. You know what I'm saying? I'm thinking like, they probably just know that, we were supposed to, that he got it or something. Make a long story short, as soon as I walked in the office, the police handcuffed me and they pulled the gun out.
Wow.
And my sister wrote me a letter, and you gotta watch how you affect people. She actually went to the same school, and she was talking about how like that was just one of her worst days ever, seeing that news walk her brother out with with the biggest thing like what's going on today is a freaking gun at school. Make a long story short, the guy that told on us, the third guy that was with us that told on us, he ended up being a police officer. He's a police officer to this day.
Wait, what? So,
he,
so the third guy, he was like a classmate. Like
he, he was a classmate. He was just cool with us, walked with us every day, and he went told the prince. He wrote that. Back then it was 555 a gun. He went and told the principal everything and wrote a letter, and like I said, they ended up going to his locker and finding that gun. But I say that I want to go back to what my grandmama told me. She said, son, this road. After I got put out of school, I made it my business. I'm selling drugs. So you got to think we're talking about seventh grade. I'm 12, and I made it my business. I got put out of school. And I made it my business. I was selling drugs, and my grandma pulled me to the side. She said, you can't stay here and do this. But she said, this road you going down, it only go two ways, jail or dead. I'm happy I went to prison. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
Other than
the better of the two options.
the better of the two options. I'm here to talk to you today. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah. Wow, wow.
Yeah.
I wasn't. To be honest, obviously, I knew just a tiny bit about you, but I mean, I didn't know, your story and like all this was this, this
Hmm.
deep, man.
Yeah.
It's a lot.
It's a lot. It's a lot. You know what I'm saying? And so, I mean, like I said, from you got to think from 12 to I didn't go to prison to 30. So from 12 to 30, I was out there
Yeah.
doing
What? Yeah. What'd you do? What'd you do in from 12 to 30?
the police. When I came up hustling, we used to run to cars. Um, we and I like to explain this to people just because my story. We chopped the rocks down. We got 5 6 rocks in our hands, and when we saw somebody that wanted some, we ran to cars. We actually took off running in the car window. What you want, a 20 or 30? You know what I'm saying? We actually ran to cars. I was so young, the police used to think that I was the watch out person.
Mm.
So they never ever really searched me or anything at first because it's this little bitty kid. He's looking out for these grown men, but the whole time this little bitty kid is out here doing what these grown men are doing. You would think, um, and I'm not even shunning my OGs out. You know what I'm saying? They was out there, but you would think they would have been telling me, "Hey, this is not it. Don't do this. Go a different way, or whatever." But it was just like, "Hey, this is what we doing." You know, here. You know what I'm saying? And once you come to accustomed to what once I see like, oh, okay, I can spend $40 and make 80. And then you get to thinking like, oh, okay, I can spend 1,000 and make 1,500, 2,000, and so you become accustomed to a business in sense. You know what I'm saying? Joe Osteen said this. Shout to Joe Osteen. I love Joe Osteen. He said, Joe Osteen said, drug dealers got the hardest job. He said, if you can sell drugs, you can do anything. He said, you got to go buy it. He said, you got to cook it. You got to break it down. You got to sell it. I mean, I'm
You gotta
just,
do it all.
you got to, you got
You gotta
to
do it
do
all.
it. You got to do it all. And so when you become accustomed to a life like that, and that's why they say it's fast money, it's quick money. My conspiracy I went to jail for conspiracy. I ended up getting a 25-year sentence, and I'm so
At what age?
at
How
I
old were
had to
you?
be about 29 then, 29 or
Okay.
30. And I'm not skipping, but I'm not skipping the story, but I'm saying like my conspiracy, and I wanna say something about this fast money. My conspiracy charge was 10 keys of cocaine and 1,000 pounds of weed. But I'm going back to the guy that I sold the 10 keys to. His phone was tapped, but I made $50,000 off that deal. And so my point is making, and I'm not glorifying the life. I'm glorifying like, hey, I just made $50,000 in 10 minutes. I mean, why would I stop doing this? When I come from nothing, and now and people wonder why I used to always my nieces and my nephews like I pile them up in the car. We go to Chuck E. Cheese. We'll go to the mall because I wanted
And no more Payless shoes. No more
ain't
Payless
no more.
shoes. Yeah.
I wanted them to live a life that I didn't get to live.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted my nieces and my nephews, and I wanted them like, hey, y'all ain't gotta go to Payless like I did. Hey, we finna go. I'm finna go buy you some Nikes. You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
and I think that, and I think that's a part of a trauma that we deal with too. Like we dread to see people live how we did. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Man, prostitutes and all that stuff was normalized to us. Like it was just a regular life. One of my kids' mamas used to she said, why you just hop up and just go out of town? Well, because I can't really do nothing in my town because I'm too much watching my back for the police and the robbers. And so I'd rather get up and go out of town and have a good time and free my mind. I don't have to worry about nothing out here. They don't know me out here. You know what I'm saying? And so that life is really that life it'll put some blinders over you because the money will overpower everything that you see.
So it's sort of like the money just sort of took over your
It
life.
just yeah, it just took it over. And this the thing about it is you think you're doing a lot of good.
Mm-hmm.
You think you doing a lot of good because guess what? Yeah, you might be going to church, you might be taking care of these people, but I mean, but you're putting something out there that's just that ain't you're putting some evil out there. Just to be honest, you know what I'm saying? And so, like I said, that lifestyle, I tell people all the time, it'll put some blinders over you, and it comes with a lot.
Yeah, yeah. Did you when you thinking back to when you first got in the game, did you ever think to yourself like, I'm just gonna do this, just get a little bit of money and get out, and oh, that's never gonna happen to me. I'll just make a little bit and then I'll be set. Like, did you have that mentality, or like what did you think when you first started?
Dude, look, this is funny. Um, I told somebody this one time. When I first started, it was just like, okay, I'm just trying to get in this and have me some money in my pocket I can eat and like
Just make a few bucks.
just make a food buck shoes. I keep shoes, clothes, all this and that. Then guess what? When I got in, I said, "Ooh, now I need a car because guess what? Everybody in this is getting cars, and so now, okay, now I got a car. Boom,
Now Ricky's gotta get a car.
Ricky got to get a car, and then guess what? Then guess what? You got to get next. You got to get some jewelry because they're getting jewelry.
Yeah. Ricky's iced
Hey,
out. Yeah, yeah.
Ricky's iced out. Okay, then boom. Now you got to get this big old fly girl.
Mm.
And so now that come with a check
There's
because
levels.
there
Yeah.
it's levels. And so once you create all these different things of what you need, that means you have to get more money, right?
Yeah. Gotta keep up with it.
You gotta keep up with. I said this one time, and anybody can believe this, and they don't have to believe this. I picked up a friend of mine one day, and I owed somebody some money, and picked up my friend. He went in the house and got the money, and something. and it had to be God. Something said, Ricky, you need to stop doing what you're doing right now, or you're gonna be into some big trouble. This is what I said in my head, and I kind of said it out loud. I said this was the plan. I said I'm not gonna stop doing what I'm doing until I get caught. I said I'm gonna get caught. I'm gonna get myself out of it, and then I'm gonna just go legal.
Mm.
That's what I said. I said that in
So it's almost
7 months.
like you wanted to get caught.
It's
You
it's
couldn't
it's
just give it up. Like it.
it's it's crazy as that. As crazy as
Honestly,
that sound, it's almost kind of like I wanted to get caught just to
yeah,
have a reason.
I've heard that before. You're not
You
the
know what I'm
first person that said
saying?
that. Yeah.
And so doing the mix at that time, I ended up getting a clothing store. So I was like, let me start investing this money in something. You know what I'm saying? Let me start
Yeah.
investing.
Yeah.
End up getting a clothing store. Make a long story short, 7 months I was in jail with no bond. After saying that, and so this is the thing about it is, now I understand what they say about if your money ain't moving, you ain't making no money. So you can be a dealer and you can be saving all this money. You can be saving all this money. But if it's just sitting there, it's not accumulating nothing. And so now this is what happens. This is what happens when you do that. You done saved all this money. You done created all this lifestyle that you have to keep living. You gotta go buy some more jewelry now because guess what? That jewelry old. That car you
Yeah.
got, that's old. They get some new cars, and so now if you're not hustling, and this money is sitting over here, you are still spending this money without making none.
Right. You're gonna run out.
You're gonna run out. And so it becomes a repetitive process to where you got to keep on and keep on and keep on. And so you really don't have a plan with it. Because even when you're talking about you're scared to clean it up, then you just like to see some people just like to see a lot of money sitting right there. Some people just enjoy like, I got that big pile of money.
Like, God, here it is. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And so you're not level headed thinking when you're out there hustling. I don't care who you are. A couple people, just a couple made it out with some in transition, but it's not that many of them, and I know that for a fact. So it's not a plan. You can't plan dirty money. Like you can't really do nothing with it like that. You gotta be a real smart person to transition. But a lot of us didn't even make it through high school. Like I never made it through high school. So regardless, if you're not educated, I'm not saying education is the top tier, but you have to be educated to know what to do with any type of money. You know what I'm saying? And even in business, or you can keep on learning. I spent over $50,000 to open up my clothing store, and it shut down within 2 or 3 months. Just not knowing what to do,
Mm.
not knowing what
Yeah.
to
So
do.
you can have all the money, but like you said, you could just blow it because you just don't understand how to manage it, how to run the business, etc.
What if you don't? If your connection get popped, you can't get. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And then you're in trouble.
You you're in trouble. And like I said, man, that lifestyle is not to be glorified. Like no, it's the worst. It's the worst lifestyle. It's just a bad place to be in for anybody, and
Yeah.
that's why my heart kind of goes out to guys that I see and think that it's going somewhere, and I just understand that it goes nowhere. It put your family in harm. Like my whole family was in harm. My child mother went to jail with me. When the police ran up in my house on that conspiracy, they was in my house. my auntie house, my other auntie house, anywhere that I was going, they was affected by it. You know what I'm saying? And so also that style of game, like you are really affecting the people around you and don't even know it. You know what I'm saying? And so like that's why I kind of get. I like to talk to people about this. I like to encourage people like that lifestyle is terrible. It's just it's a terrible way to live. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah. Now, what's the I've been thinking about it since you said it. It's been a few minutes, but
Okay.
once you said it, you're like, I'll tell you about that too. But and everybody's probably one or two. The Mexican mob. What's the Mexican mob?
Oh man, look. Uh, when you get a taste of money, uh, when you feel like if I can go to Atlanta and spend $5,000 at that time with no, but anyway, like uh, my conspiracy was from Nashville to Jackson to Memphis to Texas to Mexico. The first time I ever went to Mexico, I walked through there. I'm walking through the border. People don't understand
This wasn't a vacation.
no. This wasn't vacation.
Yeah, your first time there, and it was not a vacation.
Land, oh no, not at all. I land in Brownsville, Texas. You can't plain Mexico. I land in Brownsville, Texas, and you got to walk over the border. But this is my first time. I'm going down there to meet the connects, the Mexican mob, and all this and that. And I got this big old gold.
This is pretty serious, Ricky. This is
Oh, yeah, it's real serious. No, this is the real story. I got paperwork to back it up if it ever came to that, but not really. But it would.
yeah, yeah.
But so I walked across the border. I got this big old gold chain on. And the first thing, the Mexicans just coming over, they plotting on me. I didn't know. And they was like, hey, you want a little girl? I got 11-year old. That's the first. For some reason, the first thing that they was trying to put on me was the kids. You know what I'm saying? They was like, I was like, no. I was like, no, we don't sleep with, kids and stuff like that. But they was with. I got this. I just came over the border. I'm just a black guy, and I got this big gold chain over. And so once my friend pulled up, he said, "Hurry up, get in the car, jump in the trunk." And so I done got scared at this point, and I jumped in the trunk. He finally got me to where we had to go, and this is what he said. He said your friend told on me, and I can't come out of Mexico. So at that point, I'm like, I done got scared, like. So why y'all get me over here? You know what I'm saying? But he was like, no, no, no. I ain't, you know what I mean? Because I'm like, dang, I'm thinking like, all the stories you hear, I'm thinking like, did y'all done got me over here to hurt, you know what I'm saying? Because
yeah, yeah. Ricky might not be going home.
Ricky might not be going
Might be going to
home.
a permanent home.
You know what I'm saying? And so to make a long story short, he was telling me like, um, anyway, I was just meeting him, and I always got to tell the story. My big thing was weed. I didn't really care about the hardcore drugs, like what I mean, because it's something in me that just didn't like to do it. But again, I got scared again because when we got back in the car, we was riding through like a jungle, like this. I'm being told it's like a jungle. I'm like, this is not even a road. I'm thinking again, like, is Ricky not going home? I'm serious. I'm thinking again.
yeah.
And okay, and so we finally got to this big warehouse. All his friends was there. Make a long story short, the warehouse had about 3 or 4 levels on it. At least 100 different kinds of weed, and we're just going in the circle like this one, this one, this one. This what I tell them. Give me that one, and that one, and I'm ready to go. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm still
Yeah,
kind of
yeah.
frigidy. But to make a long story short is like, um, reason I can tell my story because I actually made it to the top of the chain gang of when you talking about hustling and you know what I'm saying and selling narcotics. You know what I'm saying? And that's why I say, guess what? It's fun because it's fun in the moment. The Mexican mob loved me to death. Like I was like one of their favorite people. The money was always on time. Like I could communicate. You know what I'm saying? Half of them don't even speak English, and so I'm going to get paper and learning words and all type of stuff just to even communicate with these. I was in and this had to be. I'm gonna give it 2008 2009 2008 2009. The Mexican mob was trying to kill the president of Mexico because they used to be able to pay the presidents off to get the drugs through. And this president at the time, he just wasn't having it. So like everywhere he went, every time I entered Mexico, I didn't see nothing but um they army. You know what I'm saying? It was in that critical time where they was actually trying to kill the president because the president wasn't letting them through. And so it can become scary when you're dealing with them people because they know where your people live at. Like they know, like they had my auntie address, and I was like, even though I'm not gonna try to take off on your number, how did you get that? You know what I'm saying? And so I was in the serious part of the game. I wasn't one of these peon type of guys. You know what I'm saying? Because I actually wanted a lot of money. You know what I'm saying?
Did you have a
And
number in your head? Like, did you have like, I wanna make X
I
amount?
always said $1 million, and I always said, look, when I make $1 million, I'm gonna invest so much of it. And this is the thing: I made millions of dollars, but I spent millions of dollars. And so like you said, you're looking at a lifestyle to where like I never ate fast food. Like I never like everything was top tier. You know, my cars. You know what I'm saying? If I'm buying a car, I'm buying a car straight, taking it to the shop, rims, radio, and so yeah, and so you got that number in your head, but you also spending money on everything. When anything, I bought my brother a car, I bought my sister a car. You know what I'm saying? That
Everybody gets it. You're getting a
that's
car.
why
You get
you
a
get a
car.
car.
Yeah.
You get a car. You know what I'm saying? And so and I don't really like to say this, but I really like to say this. Mexicans really took care of me when you're talking about the game. You know what I'm saying? Like you can deal with your own people, you can deal with whatever people, but Mexicans, and I'm sorry to uplift them like this, but if they down with you, they really one hundred
They're
percent.
the real deal.
They are the real deal.
Yeah. Yeah.
They are the real deal. And so my time dealing with them was really, really lovely. You know what I'm saying? I love when they call me with the boss. Like, hey, Fernando. They call me Fernando. That was my name, Fernando. That was my name.
That was your.
Yeah, that was. Hey, Fernando.
I was
I'm
wondering. I've been wondering that, to be honest
yeah,
with
yeah.
you.
Hey, Fernando, I'm with the boss, and they be with the boss, and we just be talking, and it's just like, it was a good business move for me at the time. Put it like that, you know what I'm saying? And so that's why I tell people like, yeah, it might seem fun, you know what I'm saying, but it's dangerous. How many people ain't left Mexico? You know what I'm saying? I was down there like I never ever paid attention to it being dangerous. I never ever cared about that. That's how money distract you so much. I never cared about it being dangerous. If they call me and say, come down here and look at this, look at that, I was on the next flight. I was in California one time. Me and my friends, we at the BET Awards. We got tickets to the BET Awards and everything. We down there kicking it. We went to the Ti had a party the night before. We went to the Ti party. We down there looking so good. We walking in the comedy show, and the lady said, "I know y'all some celebrities." And we wasn't, but we was just down there looking,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying?
Looking. Yeah.
And looking
Yeah.
good. So we got
Yeah.
BET, we got a BET tickets to the BET Award show. Them Mexicans called me and said, "Hey, we need you on the plane. We got you right here." I left California that same day. You know what I'm saying? Because I looked at it like, y'all have some fun. I'm finna go take care of some business. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
And so like even did I have nothing bad about A couple of them told, you know what I'm saying, after all us, you know what, I would have never. I hate to say this, but I gotta say this. I would have never went to jail if I would have never messed with the cocaine.
Is that what it was? That's what got you.
I would have
Got you
never.
got.
I used to say it all the time, and not to brag on it, but I used to say it all the time. Long as I don't mess with cocaine, um, we was getting. I'm gonna tell you something, and I hope I ain't giving up no game, but it's my story. I gotta tell you. Police can't pull those horse stables over. Those horses, they can only like stand up and stuff for so long when they, you know what I'm saying, when they, when they traveling. And so the police can't pull those horse stables over for so long because those horses can't be standing and stuff so long to where it's got to go from here to there. And so once we found out about that, that's what we delivered our weed in. Because we understood the police is not going to pull over a horse stable.
Yeah. Giddy
You
up.
giddy up. You know what I'm saying? And so a friend of mine said this. They said, he said, Pete, because they called me Pete Pumpkin, you ain't gonna never get caught. Because it was so smooth. And I call it being greedy. And I don't even call it being greedy, but that's what I called it because when a certain person called me asking me for cocaine, I was like, I'm thinking like, no, not really. But when you thinking I can make 50,000 off the person, like how could you 50,000 cost me $50,000 cost me to go to jail. Put it like that. That's what it cost me to go to jail. It cost me $50,000 to go to jail. They
Fifty
paid
thousand
me. You might
bucks.
want to say they paid me $50,000 to go to jail for 5.5, 6 years.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? And I would call it being greedy on the strength of I didn't have to do that. You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
so it's just my life. It's just the life.
So now, all while this was going on, all these years, right? Were you already? I mean, it sounds kind of like it. And again, because I don't know like your whole story, right? Were you already like in the music industry as well? Like, were you simultaneously work in the music industry?
I'm gonna tell you something. This is funny. Everybody kind of in that lane of hustling. Music and stuff is one of the first things that we're introduced to. Uh, because you got promotion, you got bringing shows, and so um, when you're talking about cleaning up money, what are the best places to do?
Clubs, yeah.
And so my when I first started the music, like I said, and me and Buck, we've been friends since kids. You know what I'm saying? We play basketball together and all that. But when my first step in music was promotion. I used to pass out flyers. We used to bring shows, and it was easy way to clean up the money because we could just pay an artist 5,000, 10,000, 15,000, and make 20 or $30,000. You know what I'm saying? And so I think for a lot of dealers out there, that's kind of like our first go to is the entertainment and the music.
To Yeah, to put the money.
To put that money in there, and then it becomes fun on the strength of think about it. Not only am I booking Jeezy, now he finna come to the town, and I get to be with Jeezy.
You get to hang out.
Yeah, I get to hang out. You know what I'm saying? I get to hang out. And on
Yeah,
top of that, I'm finna make some money. You know what I'm saying? And
yeah,
so
yeah.
I
It's like
think
you got the best. You got the best of everything. You got the best of the world. You're making the money in the drug game. You got the music. Obviously you listen to these guys, and you hear things that they're doing, and you know that they're doing similar things, right? And it's like just like it's like for you, it was probably like a dream. Like so you got
it
to.
was a trick. Think about it. On top of that, now I get a cosign from this big old artist. Now guess what the streets is saying? Oh, I want to get it P. He was cheesy, and so all
You got
that's
another name too? What was it? What was it?
P. They call me P. They call me Lil P, or they
P.
call me Pumpkin. But
Okay.
my name to the Mexicans was
The
Fernando.
Mexicans was Fernando.
Yeah, you know what I'm
Okay.
saying.
So okay. So
And
your southern name was Fernando, and then
yeah, yeah, yeah.
here were Pete. Okay.
And that's what I'm saying. And now you get the props of being around these celebrities, and so now your street credibility goes.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And you use that towards like some people, when you talk about streetwise, they might get in the streets and just say, I got something for cheap, come holler at me. No, I ain't got nothing for cheap. I got some. I'm using my name. Like I'm Pete. You know what I'm saying? Like so, if you wanna holler at me, you wanna come see me, you gonna pay my. You gonna pay for my presence. You know what I'm saying? It ain't all about
Yeah.
getting nothing for cheap. You gonna pay for my presence on the strength of yeah. I wanna know him. He be with celebrities. He be with that. And so you use all that stuff for leverage on what you're doing in the streets, as in being protected and being able to sell everything, you know what I'm saying, that you need. Look, if
So it
I
costs to be in the know. It costs to be in the circle.
if I my if I was getting 1,200 pounds a week, I was trying to have it gone in 2 or 3 days. I never been the person. I don't want to sit on it. I don't want to sell one, two of them. I want to. I want to. I want somebody to want about 200 of them. Who buying 300 of them? Like that's what I don't want to. I don't want to hold on to it. I don't want to hustle it. You know what I'm saying? That wasn't my stilo out there. I don't want to. I don't want. I would. I didn't want to sleep around all that stuff. I always. This is the funny thing about that is when I was on my conspiracy, this how the police are smart, but they are very
They're always,
illegalized.
yeah, yeah. And they're always playing catch up.
I'm gonna, I'm gonna tell
Yeah.
you something. So, one day, me and my child mother come home, and the the air is out, and so we turn the air on. It ain't working. We call the office in the park. We call the office. We like, hey, the air is out. They're like, oh, cool, we're gonna send somebody. A guy came in, a white guy came in, we never seen before.
So
We done been,
he ain't the HVAC guy.
look,
We already know.
but guess what? We not even thinking, we not even thinking about it. And so he came in, he did some in the fuse box, he did some outside, and he said, well, I couldn't fix it. Y'all gonna have to wait till tomorrow or something. So wait the next day, the maintenance guy came in. So this is what I said. I said to the maintenance guy, I said, yeah, man, because the guy came yesterday, he couldn't fix it. He said, what guy? I'm saying, man,
You're like, oh shit.
I said they sent the I said they sent the maintenance guy yesterday, and I said he couldn't fix it. He said, I'm the only maintenance guy here. He said they would have called me. I'm like, and I didn't think no more about it.
You didn't even, yeah, at the time you didn't think you didn't think it was
The
suspicious.
the whole time it was the police officer, and he came and wired our house up.
Yeah.
And so now the police could hear every word I ever said in my house until that day. And so that's why I said like, and that's why I tell people, my lawyer told me this. He said, Ricky, I don't see how y'all sell drugs and do what you do, knowing the police know everything what you do. You know what I'm saying? And so the police know everything. That's another reason why I knew I'm not ever gonna do anything illegal no more because I know they got too much information to get the information. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a crazy world out there. You know,
Yeah.
my story might sound fake to a person that don't know me, but if they come there, be like, yeah, news and everything. Like I was, you know what I'm saying? I was the man in my own rhyme. My brother came to court and they got to talking about these millions of dollars and they got to talking about this and all this and that, all this. My brother, he came and saw me the next day. He said, man, he said, I knew you was doing something, but he said, I didn't know you was doing all that because I wasn't a stunner. I wasn't a person trying. I didn't care nothing about having more than you. All I wanted to do was have fun and eat good, and I like to travel. I mean, I've been traveling. I think I've been traveling since I was 17. I was going to Atlanta with a fake ID. Shout out to Atlanta. I used to go. I used to have a fake ID going to Atlanta on the weekends. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Just to be in the building because I just wanted to see. I just wanted to see the world. That's all I really. I didn't really care. I always loved to have a lot of money, but I just want to see the world. I just want to just get
You
out
want the
there and see what's
experience.
going on. I want to see the experiences because I understood my family, they didn't know nothing. You know what I'm saying? They knew we could
Yeah.
do anything we could, but we never saw it. See, and I think that's the misconception of like, yeah, you saying I can do anything, but I never saw you do anything.
Right. Right.
You know what I'm saying? And so
So
that's
you had to go see it for your own eyes to really be able to believe it.
to really be able to believe it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so and that goes back to when it's talk about the music, man. That music, man, it showed me so much. That day, I almost fell out when Buck told me, man, Jay Z them in town, and they just called me. I almost fell out because I'm listening. I'm like, okay, yeah, I know we finna go see Jay Z. Like I'm thinking the whole time I'm thinking like, nah, we ain't finna. Met Myth Bleak, man. We showed Myth Bleak them so much love all through the day. And this is a fun fact, and I'm gonna give you this. I'm gonna give you this nugget. Yeah, Buck, he was finna record a quote unquote. Him and Memphis Bleak was finna at least try to do about 2 or 3 songs. Rent the studio out, did all that, and Memphis Bleak said, "This is why I respect Memphis Bleak because he said, hold on, he said, let me call Jay Z because Jay Z hadn't made it there yet, and he said, let me call Jay Z. He called Jay Z. He said, hey Jay, me and Buck right here, we finna record some songs. And Jay Z said, no, don't do it. And then, Bleak, you know what I'm saying? Just he was like, why? And he was like, man, he said, because me and 50 kind of going back and forth right now. And he said, with you doing some work with Buck, it'll give 50 ammo. You know what I'm saying? And Jay Z was telling Jay Z said this, and I never forget this. He said, only how stuff can keep prolonging if you entertain it. And so and that's why I learned like, okay, if somebody say something about me, only how the energy can get out there if I give it energy. And so Jay-Z was just telling Buck, don't give it no energy. You know what I'm saying? But
Yeah.
make a long story short, Jigga came that night. We was at Vanderbilt, you know what I'm saying? Shout out to Vanderbilt. And I was so jealous because, Buck, we done been in a lot of good places, VIP, but Vanderbilt laid it out for Jay Z. Like they had like steaks and stuff. You know what I'm saying? They had
Roll
like
out the red carpet.
yeah, they had like bottles and stuff. I done been backstage with Buck on several occasions, but I've never been to that type of backstage. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. What? Do you remember about like what year was that?
That was 2000 and
I'm just trying to think timeline wise. Was this like
2010.
G Unit? Was this like G?
2000
Okay.
that was that was about two that was 2010 when Buck was what I'm saying in the mix of going through what he was going through
Yep.
with 50 or whatever and
Hmm.
man I always give props to 50 Cent, you know what I'm saying, for giving one of our artists a chance, you know what I'm saying, like 50 really he really poured into Buck. You know what I'm saying? I hate that they situation kind of lined up like it did, but he really like poured into G Unit and Buck, and he kind of let Buck have his way. You know what I'm saying? And so I respect him for that, but I just hated that. I hated that situation that had to end like it did because I feel like
Yeah.
uh,
What exactly did happen? I hear and see different things, and like I never really fully like not the I see I want to know like the real story, right?
I'm gonna tell you. Shout out to DJ Who Kid real quick. Buck was doing a Nashville down south mixtape and hosted by DJ Who Kid when the DJs was popping and Buck had people from East Nashville, South Nashville. Just Yo Gotti was in there, Starlito was in there. I'm just giving you some names. And DJ Who Kid called 50 Cent and said, 50, we found our gold mine. And 50 was like, what you talking about? He said, Nashville, Tennessee. and cause he was talking about how like we just got those artists down here. But I'm gonna tell you, in my opinion, they was going overseas one time, and Buck missed the show, and I think he might have told 50 he missed his plane, and then he was gonna catch it the next day. To make a long story short, Buck missed the show or whatever. And I kind of feel what Tony Yayo was saying one time, as in like, even though it was the group was G Unit, but 50 was his own entity, and G Unit was who? Lloyd, Tony Yayo, and Buck. And I know Tony Yayo was saying something like, saying a lot like, Buck was never satisfied with what he was getting. You know what I'm saying? And so when Buck missed that show, he was down there with Rick Ross. The same thing 50, to be honest with you, is mad at Big Meech for right now, hanging up under Rick Ross. Buck did the same thing. And I don't think Buck was doing it to make 50 mad. I know Buck got tired of taking on all 50 beef. And you gotta think about this. When Buck was with 50, who was coming up? DJ Khaled. And all these I'm so hood. Think about it. Buck wasn't on nothing. Buck, to be honest with you, see, I understand this. If I'm just now signing with you and I'm kind of taking on your beef, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Um,
yeah,
Buck took on some beef that he did it for being loyal. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
Where we
Yeah,
come from.
territory.
Where we come from. And so I think and I know a lot of stuff what happened. I know a lot of stuff. Buck missed some shows and stuff, and 50, like, you know what I'm saying, he playing with his money or whatever. But it also, like, Buck was just like, 50, I don't want to be into it with these guys no more. I don't want to be into a Rick Ross and DJ Khaled's. I want to be a part of what's going on. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah.
And so I think Buck could have did it in a better way. He could have sit 50 down and say, hey man, I want to just kind of start doing my own thing, man. I don't want to be into it with the people that you into it with. You know what I'm saying?
Sure. Yeah, it's baggage, baggage.
It's baggage, but once you start, it's hard to stop. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
And so I just know that had a lot to do with it, on Buck just wanting to go around. The same person. It was Ross, same person. Even, and this is what I'm saying, it didn't benefit you, Buck. Because look at 50 and Ross. You signed. You know what I'm saying? You know how it go.
Yep.
If you sign to me and you going around my enemy, 50 said himself, I feel like you got something
Yeah,
on towards me.
yeah. It's like a betrayal.
But you know what I'm saying? And so I just think it'd have been a better way to do it. But that's where a lot played a part. You know what I'm saying? Played a part of it. You know what I'm saying? And all the other stuff had just came, but it's really like 50 just felt betrayed, to be honest.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Which
Yeah, I can
which
see it, and I can see both sides. Yeah,
well, this what I'm gonna say. Which I'm gonna say this. 50 really befriended Buck. And I think he was more hurt because he felt like Tony Yayo and all these people is my friends I grew up with. And I done kind of put you before them. You know what I'm saying? And so that's why I kind of really think he felt like he felt, because he actually put you in a bigger situation than them, because you was down south and it was they, and they've been friends.
mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And so, like I said, I just think it was a miscommunication. I think it was a lot of betrayal. And for Buck, I just feel like Buck just was, he was ready to work with. Down south was popping. And think about it, Buck was 50 was into it with everybody. And so Buck couldn't really work with nobody. He couldn't put out no music. Buck, Buck wasted, man, I'm gonna say 15 years of
I was gonna
music
say
with,
a long time, long time.
music with a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
Man, dude, Buck got a song. Buck got a song right now. I heard with DJ Mustard on the beat. Buck, DJ Mustard, Boosie, and YG. And I'm just giving you it's songs like that out there that can't even be cleared. You know what I'm saying? Because of whatever the contract was. And I can say this because Buck know I gotta tell the story. Buck finally got his nuts up one day and said, "Man, you know what? I'm gonna call this lawyer." And I guess it was the lawyer that 50 appointed him and all this and that. And man, we called the lawyer. We sitting in his house. We sitting in his mansion. I miss that house so much. Man, Buck had the best house out of all the celebrities. He didn't ever get on MTV Cribs, but like he had the best house.
But he should have, huh? He
But
should
he
have.
should have. But he should have. But make a long story short, he called his lawyer and he said, "This what his lawyer said." He said, "I'm glad you called, Buck, Dave Brown." He said, "I'm glad you called. I'm right in my office right now." He read that contract, and after he got through reading it, this is the only thing Buck can say. He said, "Why did you let me sign something like that?" Get what the lawyer told Buck. He said, "You was there." He said, "You was there." And so, again, even when you're talking about this music industry, these people like Buck worked so hard to get to where he was. I tell these people in Nashville, you can't be a young Buck, and this is why. Because Buck was living in New Orleans. He done lived in Atlanta. Buck actually was really everywhere around the world promoting his stuff. Like he didn't. That's why I think Buck didn't want to go nowhere once he made it because he had already been traveling everywhere. He was tired. You know what I'm saying? Buck was tired, man,
Yeah.
because he had really been every cash money. Like he done been in. Man, look, Buck said he put that contract with Juvie up under the bed. And I understand. I understand why, man. Because Buck, he actually didn't really never want to be in no contract because he came from the independent.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And so with him even signing with 50, he just knew like Buck came back to Nashville like, man, this guy named 50 Cent. And we looking at him like, man, you ain't gonna get no deal. You know what I'm saying? And not saying he is not gonna get a deal because he was setting his own units out the trunk. But then and he was like, man, this guy 50, he said he gonna sign me, he said he finna do this. And once 50 blew up, and came and I feel like he came and got Buck, man. It was a pivotal moment for Nashville, Tennessee, man. And a lot of other people walked through the door after Buck, and like the Starlitos and the Quanti Cashes, and so we got a lot of success from that situation. So that's why I always say, man, shout out to 50 for putting that Cashville on the map with us. We did it all together. You know what I'm saying? And so shout out to
Yeah,
50.
yeah, yeah. Hell of a story, man.
Yeah, yeah.
The you got you got. Are you writing a book?
I'm a right
Oh,
one.
you're
I'm
not.
right one. Yeah, yeah. Because everything is facts, man. Man, I love life experiences. You know what I'm saying? And so I'm always trying to
Yeah,
catch you that moment. You know what I'm saying? And
yeah,
so and it can be bagged up. That's you know what I'm saying. That's the thing. It can be bagged up. And I love artists. I've always when I got into this industry rap, like it made me fall in love with artists and what they do and how hard they work because I know, like I tell
you know,
anybody,
yeah,
if you think you finna get in this music industry and you think you and any this entertainment and you think it's gonna be a walk in the park, you might as well stay at home.
yeah.
It ain't it for you.
Mm-hmm.
This a hard job. This a hard job. What we do when it come to podcast, this is a hard job. And then especially when you doing good in podcast, it's a hard job because now you got to deal with the haters. Now you got to deal with the people.
Oh,
Now you got
don't
to
even
deal
get
with
me
the
started.
people.
They want to burn you down.
Hey, it ain't hard being on top. I mean, it ain't easy. My fault. It ain't easy being on top. No, for real. It's
I think
not
it's harder.
easy being on top, especially when you talking about like a place like Nashville. It's so small to where like they feel like, oh, if you on top, you're the target. No, I'm
Yeah.
not the target. We need to be the target together because we're actually trying to get people to listen to what we're doing here. So no, I'm not the target. I'm not your enemy. I'm not none of that. Like we are, we can get there together. You know what I'm saying? Like that's the thing about this media. I mean, that this media is so lovely. It's not a competition thing. This is not like rap. Who got the best album?
Yeah.
This is more of your perspective, my perspective, and his perspective, and they'll listen to all three of them. You know what I'm saying? And so,
Yeah.
like,
And
it's
just like you said,
hard.
yeah, and just like you said, the experiences, like it's
Yeah,
that's to kind of go back to kind of echo a little bit of what you just said. There is like with how I said you should write a book with all the experiences you have. It's like with your podcasting experiences and mine too. Like I'm sure you can obviously speak on it too, but like the experiences and like this right now, literally right now, what we're doing is one of them, right? It's like we have these we're having these conversations of all of your experiences, my experiences,
yeah,
their experiences, and it's all coming together, and this content obviously is gonna live on hopefully forever,
it
right?
will.
But that's to me that's what's so interesting and fun and unique about the podcasting space is because it's taken me all around the world,
Yeah,
literally. Like I mean, I never would have met you. We never would have met. I mean, like this conversation would not be
it
happening.
would not be happening. And even now,
Yeah.
it's just like it take you so far to where we doing an interview, and you don't even have to be where I am.
Right.
we,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I prefer to be down there in Nashville, and I feel
Yeah.
like I feel like obviously one of these days I'm gonna have to make a trip down, and we could we'll have to do a part two for sure.
Most definitely on my platform.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And
Hell yeah.
that's just you know what I'm saying. Like man, look, I live in a world where we have to work together. You know what I'm saying? Like
For sure.
let's
Yeah.
make it together. Let's make some memories. Like especially when you're talking about this podcast lane, it can be real
Mm-hmm.
lucrative for our family, for our kids. And shout out to you too, man. I always want to say, man, I love your relationship with your family. You know what I'm saying? Busy on podcasts, but just indulging with family and stuff. Like I see you with the babies and the wife and all
I
that out there.
appreciate that, bro.
You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? I
Yeah.
see you.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. Yeah. Because that is obviously the podcasting and all this it's cool and it's fun and everything, but just as you said, I mean the family it's everything.
Top tier,
Yes, sir.
top tier.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Mm. Well, man, I feel like there's still so much more that we need to unpack. And I think this was a great start, by
Yeah,
the
most
way.
definitely, most definitely.
Yeah, 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 yeah. And I think maybe we could save some more for maybe a part two, even if we have to do another virtual one.
We'll do it.
Yeah. But then eventually there's gonna be a person one, either one way or the other. We'll figure it out.
Oh, most definitely, most definitely.
Yeah,
But like I
yeah.
said, it was good to chop it up, man. I knew it was gonna be good, man. I was excited, and I knew it was gonna go. I knew it was gonna go
Yeah.
good. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Oh, of course. Yeah. And two, before we wrap up, give everybody a little. Well, actually, no. Hold on. Let me one
I
more
ain't in
thing
no rush.
before. Yeah. So, you know, I want to know, and like from all your experiences, and I'm sure a lot of people are probably wondering too. Like what was your biggest takeaway? From I'll say like takeaway or lesson that you learned. It could be a good or bad. From the drug game, from having the experiences that you went through, jail, prison, all that. Like what did you take away from all that, and how do you apply it now?
Um, what I took away, this what I took away from it. I took away, don't waste your time on something that's gonna end up to being nothing. You know what I'm saying? And I understand that our experiences, man, I have had some hell of a experiences when it's talking about life and being able to, travel and being able to eat the finer things and see the finer things. But um the lesson is if you really put your mind to something, you can do it at the highest level of what you can do. So if I'm saying, this what I said. When I was at first, I was a small drug dealer. I was just penny pinching. I might have
Just a nice
5,000.
guy.
I might have 1,000. I might have 5,000. I might have 10,000. And so this what I said. I said, man, I want hundreds of thousands, and I went for it, and I got that. And the takeaway is, you can put your mind to whatever you want and do it. It's what you want. Cause I could have said, man, I'm finna go to school and I'm finna go to college and I'm finna be a doctor, and I would have been a doctor because I put my mind and my focus on that. And so don't focus on the easy money. Focus on something that's a career that's gonna last a long time. And so I could have did something way. It is what it is, but I could have did something. I could have been a doctor. You know what I'm saying? And so
Or anything.
what or anything,
Anything for that matter.
what you put your mind to, you really can do it at 100%. That's not a lie. Because I did it in all the lanes that I chose to go down. I want to be around the biggest stars. I've done that. I want to travel. I've done that. But I could have did it the right way.
What's it all cracked up that it's portrayed to be?
It ain't. Only thing you're gonna get in it is fun times. That's the only thing is you gonna get in. You're gonna have a lot of fun, and it's gonna end up to being just conversations. Then you can just talk about everything you done did, and you don't have nothing actually to show for it, but the fun in your head, which is cool for me because I love the experiences. I love to be in California all the time. I love that when Jay-Z said he was opening up his club in Vegas for the first of the year, I was there. This is fun. I want to tell this funny story real quick. So we go to our people from California call, like, hey, uh another thing, another drug meeting. We need to meet. Let's meet in Vegas, talk about some stuff. They said, but it was the first of the year. They said Jay-Z opened his club up. And so once we got to the promoter with the tickets for the JC Club, they was 500, 1,000, or 1,500. The 1,500 was Jay Z room. The $1,000 tickets was Beyonce room, and the $500 tickets was LeBron James room. So we was like, just give us the $500 tickets. So we in the club the whole time. We at the bar. LeBron James come out the door. LeBron James come out the door and walk straight past us. And we looking like, oh, LeBron James. Like, he just walked past us real quick. Make a long story short, when we left, our people was like, how was y'all room? And we was like, what room? Y'all had the LeBron James room. So we had the VIP tickets to be in the room with the LeBron James and never even knew it. We had the LeBron James room, like, and this what we telling them. We wonder why he was right there because we was in the right area. You know what I'm saying? And so,
But you just didn't know it.
but I enjoy being able to just hop up and go do things like that. You know what I'm saying? And so whatever sacrifice I took to do that, prison came with it. Um, I I knew what I was signing up for. You know what I'm saying? So that's one thing good I can take from my whole life, in that I was able to explore a lot of stuff like I always wanted to.
Yeah. And you're still here.
And I'm still here. And still doing more.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I love it. You got hell of a story.
Yeah, and we can keep going, but like I said, man, look, I'm just proud to be here. Like, if a person just know how many situations that people that got killed, and it's just so many deals
So
went bad.
yeah, yeah, and it's so much that people probably, like, I think you said it before, is people probably think you're making it up.
They they would think.
Because it almost the things, and like again, like I get it to a different, in a different, different situations, but like I get it to a degree, like, these things that have happened, you're probably like, is this even real life?
It's
Like, how is this happening?
how is this happening? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so,
Yeah.
like I said, I'm gonna just tell my story, and it's gonna live on. You know what I'm saying? It's
For
going.
sure.
You know what I'm saying? Shout out to the Mexicans for making it happen.
Yes, and for not permanently imprisoned in Mexico
Yeah.
in the dark.
Thank y'all for letting me come home.
Yeah. Thank you to them for
Yeah,
yes.
facts. But like I said, man, I'm blessed. I'm really, really.
Sounds like it.
When I was in, everybody always talking about, and real quick, prison. Everybody always talking about, oh, when you go to prison, you gonna have to fight. You gonna have to prove yourself. I have never had one fight in prison.
No.
The warden. This is how I just think it is God favor, but it's also just me being who I am. Um, they do a count in the morning time. And for some reason, this day I didn't have to go to school, and so they counted like 9 o'clock. So 9 o'clock came, then about 9:10, 9:15 came. I said, okay, boom, they ain't gonna count. So I done laid on my bed and went to sleep. Next thing you know, I hear count clear. I wake up. I come out there, I'm like, hey, what you mean? They was like, oh, you wasn't up for count. You finna get rolled up. I was going up for parole in the next couple months. You cannot make parole no matter what if you got that write up on you.
Mm,
I went to their warden. The warden like the warden loved me. This is I went to that warden. I said, man, they done rolled me up this day. He was like, Ricky, calm down. What happened? I said, man, they rolled me up. That warden of that prison went to the captain and told him, if that write up ain't off for Ricky, in 24 hours we're gonna have a problem. And so just to even have that type of power, and I ain't saying I just got the greatest power, but even to have that type of respect and that type of power in prison, it says a lot about it says a lot about you. You know what I'm saying? And so they called me to the office and they shut the door, and there was about five of them in there, and they like, well, you know what's going on, and I'm acting crazy. I'm like, no, I don't know what's going on. I'm not scared, but I'm acting scared. They was like, well, the warden came down here and threatened us today, and that if that ever happen again, it's gonna be me and you. But they said we gonna get this right up off you, but you gonna go, but you finna go wash all these porches. And so I had to get a bucket of water because it's about on the compound. It's about 15 buildings. So I had to clean all the porches.
you had to hand wash, huh?
But I'm going home. You know what I'm saying? I'm
Mm-hmm.
going home. I'm not sitting in this prison with y'all no more days, no extra days. And so, man, I always say prison, it's modern day slavery. I still say that, but it's not just a super bad place considering who you are. You know what I'm saying? I met some wonderful people in prison. Again, I got paid 54 cents. I was a mentor. And the people who run these programs are all outside people. And for them to even trust you to say, hey, I'm gonna have you leading the guys. You know what I'm saying? It's scary in a sense on strip of it. Like you might have to tell them like, hey, you gonna get rolled up if you don't do this. And like that ain't no good feeling coming from another inmate telling you what to do when we all in here. You know what I'm saying? And so
Yeah.
I walked in power and respect in prison. And even the biggest, real quick, the biggest gang members in prison, I had the power to get them in the program that I was in. And so they might, I'm gonna say they might be in tour with another gang, and they'll say, "Hey, Rick, man, get me in the program," and I get them in the program. You know what I'm saying, and keep them safe for about a year. You know what I'm saying, and so
Mm-hmm.
it's so much help within even in there what I was able to do. It's just impactful, and so I don't care if they got cell phones. Like you know what I'm saying, the warden. This do what the warden said in prison one time. He said, "Don't go in no lifers cell." He said because they gotta live here. The warden said, "I don't care if they got cell phones." He said because that's how they get in touch with their people. And so, even though you're not supposed to have cell phones in jail, I understand what the warden said. They got to live here. We don't. And so,
Yeah.
forget if they got a cell phone. You know what I'm saying? And so, man, it's just, I could go on and on about some prison stories. It's so, you know what I'm saying? So many of them. But yeah, and but I'm just saying, like, I really walked in respecting and those guys, like, they really had respect for me just being a upright stand up guy. And I ain't in there acting like I'm the hardest person. I ain't in there faking, selling no drugs. When I said I was done with the street life, I was done with that. I ain't finna come play it out in prison. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, 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 yeah.
And so, yeah, it's just been like I said, even prison was a blessing for me. I took every class. I took every class. I took marriage classes. I got my GED. I took cosmetology. I took every class that they had in prison because I said I'm not gonna waste my time just doing nothing in here. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
I'm gonna
yeah,
get some
yeah.
type of education or something.
Yeah, something. You gotta get your money's worth.
You gotta get my money. Well, yeah, they charge me. Yeah, cause they charge you in there. You gotta get my money's worth. Yeah, I cook. Even when you talking about hustle, yeah, I hustled in there. I cook. Well, I cook. I made cakes. They paid me to make cakes and pizzas in prison. Like that was my quote unquote hustle,
That's kind of cool.
making cakes and pizza. And you got to think you don't have the stuff to make it. Like
No, yeah.
this how I made this how I make cakes.
Prison cake.
A prison
Prison
cake is
cake.
this. I'm gonna tell you. I'm gonna tell you. I'm gonna show you real quick before we go.
Yeah, what's the
I'm gonna
prison
show you
cake?
how to make a prison cake. This is how you make a prison cake.
My birthday's tomorrow, so
You
I'm
might need to make one. You take the cookies. You scrape the cream out the middle. When you get all the cream scraped out the middle of the cookies, you crush the cookies down. Make some little dough. Then you put oatmeal in it. You put oatmeal, not in the cream. You take the cream. The cream is gonna be for the cream. Cream on side. Take oatmeal. Put oatmeal in it. You take some butter. Put butter. So now you got the cookies. You got the oatmeal. You got the butter, and you might got some honey buns or something. And you just and you make it milk. Once you crush it down, put that water in it. You make it milk. You might put some little syrup or put anything in there. Put it in the microwave. It bake with the oatmeal and the milk and the butter and the cookies. It bakes up like a cake. Then you take that cream in the middle. Put you some peanut butter. Just anything sweet you got. Make that the icing and just put the icing on top. And so it's so, like I said, it's so many different ways. That's the thing about prison is like it's so many different ways to make meals. You know what I'm saying? And so that was one of my
yeah.
things. Like I charge people to make them cakes and pizzas. And so I would have never went hungry in there because I learned the skill, if you would say. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? They call it the ghetto dope too. I used to look my birthday. Like I was so peaceful in prison. I had I was one of the only people who had birthday parties. Like Ricky having his birthday party on the yard. You know what I'm saying? I'm making
Yeah, yeah.
I made the best of it while I was there. A guy, and real quick, a guy when he got out, he looked at me. He said, "Rick," he said, "Man," he said, "I used to want to be your friend so bad in prison." He said, "I was scared to ask you." You know what I'm saying? And not that I was happy there, but I just had to make the best of where I was. You know what I'm saying? And I've had out because I was happy that I was able to have all the experiences prior to coming to prison instead of just coming to prison and never had no experiences. And so I was grateful for that to be able to say, "Hey, well, I done been there and done it."
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah, so that's what I'm saying. I ain't gonna keep hold you long, but yeah, I just had to give you a
No, you're
couple.
good. You're good. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And we can't forget too before we end. You got give your show a shout out. Let people know where they can find you.
Man, make sure y'all check me out on If You're Alive Subscribe show on YouTube, man. Ricky's underscore world 1.0 on Instagram. And man, just follow him and give me a shout out, man. And we'll, and DM me if you want anything, you want to talk, or you want
You
to
want
get
prison cakes
yeah,
or
you want to you want me you want me to hook you up with some Mexicans or something? I might no, I can't do that. Yeah.
uh,
But
All right.
yeah,
Well, this was great, man. I appreciate you taking time to hop on here, and I'm glad we finally did this. And like you said, there's more to come here,
most
and
definitely.
we definitely we gotta do this. We gotta do this again
Most definitely. Most definitely.
for sure.
Okay, take care.
Thanks for joining me.
All right, you too.
All right.
All right.
Cool. Hang on 1 second.
Okay. All right, you too. Appreciate y'all, man, for tuning in to me, man. Yeah, I just had my interview, so take care.